Alright, so this video is gonna be about racism, alright? And again, I'm making these, this is like maybe the fourth video I made today. I'm making part and parcel now. Because I'm going off of TikTok's 25-minute max upload limit. You know, you heard? So, I wanna just talk about racism, right? So, what's racism, right? Racism is just how different people talk. Alright, that's the main thing. You heard? Why am I saying you heard? I don't know. I think I'm that drunk. Right? But this all stem, right? Again, I'm getting all this like inspiration from my chat buddies. You know, the last one was from J-Mo. This one is from my man Bamboonga. Again, he loves to mock black people, but he's funny about it. Because again, he's noticing something. He's not racist. I know he's not racist. He just likes making fun of Ebonics. And I think that's justified as a white guy. Because you could tell he likes Ebonics, and that's why he's making fun of it. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I like to embody the racism. I like to say the nigga word, you know? I don't want to like, you know, like what Bam does, right? He like, he'll type how black people talk, you know, and how they like fuck it, they make every word like, you know, super black. And again, he always post this. It all stems from him always posting body cam videos, and you know, you just see these black people arguing. All right. So when I see these videos, even I feel racist because I'm like, what are these people saying? First of all, you could barely understand them, right? And then you have these hokey doke police people trying to like settle the situation, and your mind automatically sides with the police, and you should never do that. Cause just think about it. The police have nothing to do with this situation, and it's like two sides of like two parties of black people or whoever it is, and you know, obviously in the hood or just people who are that willing to go crazy in public. In fact, because it's in public, right? Now there's three parties of people, right? Like for instance, this body cam video, it's two parties of black people violating each other, and then the manager of the restaurant is getting in on it, right? But the police are white. So that's four parties. Think about that, guys. This is what racism is, guys. Racism isn't just I hate this person, because when you're a child, you don't notice race. It's in tandem with the group. You know, it all starts from me to like us and then to the world. That's not the stages of ideas. That's a big concept, and you should know what I'm talking about. So my man Bambuga is always making fun of the black people speech, right? Ebonics and slang. But I'm half West Indian, alright? So they speak Creolese, Creole. In the UK, you'd call that Cockney, right? You know what I'm saying. So if y'all think about it, right? Every type of race got their own type of slang and accent. Basically, accent. That's what it is. A black scent is what I'm watching right now. And I try to pepper up in a good way what Bam is doing. Like, when he posted a link to this body cam video, I said hashtag bad boys. Like, you remember that cop show? That used to be super popular on TV before TV went to shit. And then when my man Bambuga started making fun of their black son, I said, alright, laugh out loud. You know what I'm saying? Like it's too much. But again, Bam is just being over the top. Bambunga. Like again, racism can be funny. But I find myself being less and less racist over the years. You know what I'm saying? I'll only go to that place if I'm trying to destroy you. You know what I'm saying? Or, right, as a balancing act, I'll only be racist if for the reason that, like, let's say, like this chat room is mostly white people. They never make fun of their own white race. So sometimes if I'm going hard, I'll just start making fun of white people. Start calling them wet dogs. Because as an Indian, they start saying shit about white people. Vivek, Cash Patel, whatever, India, they shit on the floor, curry, curry, they smell. So I start calling them wet dogs. I start telling these white people, oh, y'all fearing the rise of the brown race, right? With Vivek and Cash Patel in charge of the FBI. They're shook. Not many realize the richest Asians in America, I guess, are Indian people. Because why? They automatically speak, acceptable English of all the Asian races. You know what I'm saying? Right? Chinese is so different from English. Or you could even say Israel is part of Asia. Right? That's a weird example. But they just sound like Arabs. Again, Indians have been ingratiated to the UK and then into America. You know what I'm saying? And this is just a small personal example. I'm not trying to get anecdotal. I'm just trying to tell you the personal to the universal, alright? So there's a lot of racism, again, right? There's a lot of evil, there's a lot of trolls. So these girls, I even see girls getting trolled online just for being Indian. Why? Because all they talk about is being Indian. So that's what you have to realize about racism. If you're a certain like ethnicity or race, and all you're talking about is your race, kind of like Nick Stone in this chat, aka Saab, she's always talking about Israel and Jewish nonsense, right? People always try to call her out on that. It can be your identity. Again, I'm half white. I don't identify with that. I'm half West Indian. I don't identify with that. I talk like a New Yorker. I don't identify with that. I live on the internet. I'm not like Mr. Fucking John Gotti. I run, Queens. Yeah, I'm not like that. Now, other people might feel my energy, so they want to knock me down a notch. That's where the racism come from. Where's this Indian spouting off that he thinks he's, fucking Johnny Bananas over here? People don't like that. Little short fucking Indian. He thinks he's all that. Little nerd. That's where the racism. So you just have to learn how to clap back. And again, with this body cam video, these black girls pulled a gun on some other guys, some couple in a restaurant, and these black women were saying that that couple stole something from her purse or whatever, and then the black women, they want to press charges because they're upsetting their niece who's in the car, and their niece is hollering, and they're using that as an emotional like excuse. Total women move. And the couple is talking to the cops, right? It's like body cam to body cam. The couple who's been allegedly like stealing from this black women, he's like, yo, check the cams. I didn't steal. And the cop did a real subtle move. He was talking to him, and then he was like, yo, can you just sit down for a second? He told the couple, like, can you just sit down and talk to me? So you could see that the couple's being orderly while the women are hooping and hollering. And think about it. They pulled a gun on somebody. Now maybe you can do that if you're in Texas, but I'm from New York, so that shit don't play over here. You pull a gun, you're automatically going to jail. On top of that, wherever they're from, if they're in Texas and they're like at whatever Whataburger, I don't know what's in Texas. The guy should have had a gun on him too. But again, this all stems from the racism. When you watch that body cam video, it's three parties of black people just talking absolute ghetto. You understand? So, as a non-black person, right? There's like five races out there. There's like black, Spanish, Indian, Chinese. Is there only four races? Wait, black, white, Spanish, Indian, Chinese, basically, or Asian. And of course, there's other accents and other ethnicities. But this is why even people like, I'm half West Indian, they don't really associate with black people. There's Amerindians, aka natives in West, Guyana, I'm West Indian. It's in South America. There's Native Americans in there. They live in the jungle. It's an Indian country. They don't associate with them or the black people really. It's like, of course, you're gonna find racism in countries that are not first world. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know what second world nations are. What would that be? See, racism is so complicated, and no one wants to address it. Nobody. For me, the best part of like, if you want to like take racism to like a better level, just for me, I always like ethnic women, ethnic pornography, and you shouldn't be. I shouldn't be saying this, but nobody's gonna spill the tea and just talk like a regular person, like a real person to you, like a friend. Now, I might be racist, but I'm gonna say this: I find most white women to be boring. I talk to a lot of white guys in this comedy chat room. That's fine. White guys think they're hilarious. Or maybe they're just drawn to comedy. I don't know. But also, give me a second to refill my wine. Alright, so I was talking about white women, right? Now, I will find an ethnic white woman very attractive. Right? I'm kind of like Donald Trump, if you can follow the metaphor. Right? His wife right now is Melania, right? Eastern European. I think I like, the looks, the call. I like, Russian Jews. I went to high school with them. They're fucking amazing, dude, right? They always talk about these Jewish princesses with nice fucking giant gazangas with veiny gazangas. I like that shit. They look different. And then they'll be like, oh, UK women from whatever, England or whatever. They're the horniest people in the world. Yeah, I know, they're repressed. I get it, I get it. But there's something so boring about the UK, the English accent and the American accent. Like if you don't, like if you have a country accent, that's great. You have a New York accent, that's great. LA accent, I'm not for it. It just sounds so liberal and like surfer, dude. And you just be honest, it sounds a little gay. you know, Midwest accent, that's cool. Canadian, I don't know. I'm just talking about America here. So that's what I'm trying to say, guys. Like what I'm trying to say about like women in general. I don't like pretty women, like who are just pretty and there's no hotness. There's got to be something wrong. Like I know this video is about racism, but I'm just talking about race now. Now, if you look at models, right? Models are not the stereotypical beautiful women. Models have like an alien quality where they look unusual, so you'll pay attention to them, and they're tall. Again, they're aliens. You could see that as racism. Why are they not taking short people? Why are they not taking the super beautiful women? Because models are trying to show off the clothes. They can't stand out. You see, I just made that up, but that has to be facts. So what I'm trying to say, right? Positive side of racism. I like women who they look stereotypical. They look like their race. They talk like their race. I find a super hood rat black chick amazingly hot. For me, right? Because I'm so tired of this culture trying to be smart and get ahead in life. You know? Like real puritanical nonsense. I want a hood rat Indian girl, right? I'm half West Indian, and that's what I look like. I said it in the past videos. I don't want a girl that's smart. When people try to act smart, you're like, oh, they're evil. They're trying to look better then. So you have to look at your own racism. If people are talking super, super ghetto, you can't look at them like they're ghetto trash garbage. Like they're hillbillies or something, right? It's way more than that. For instance, UK people, they think they're so smart because of how they talk. Meanwhile, you talk to a real person in America, you're like, oh, these people, these British people, they sound retarded. You'll even see people make fun of it online. Like, what's the word they call cigarettes in the UK? Exactly, dude. They're fucking weird. Like, they call their, what, they call their pussy or their butt a fanny? How stupid is that? Like, what does the word bollocks mean? You know, they'll say shit like, piss off, yo wanker, and water. Like, it's like the most dumbest accent. But I'll say this, again, in tandem on race. If you find an Indian UK chick, or especially a Chinese UK chick, you're like, wow, I've never seen this before. You see what I'm saying? So, what racism is, it's almost like you get tired of people being stereotypical. It's almost like they're doing the stereotype injustice. Like, it's almost like when you see a stereotype of this race being so much this race, it's almost like you're craving them to either be better or different. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna have like a ghetto accent, have the best ghetto accent, or just don't at all. Either way, we all know we all appreciate the ghetto accent. If I was in, like, you know, at work or whatever in a professional setting, I would talk less ghetto. Right? If I was around real nerdy people, I would settle down. I'd get less aggressive with my speech, blah blah blah. You know, you guys get it. I gotta take a break. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just trying to explore racism. Alright, so I just had a bite to eat. I saw, again, I'm just watching this body cam. So this is even what black intellectuals will say. Like, when black people address why black people are the most incarcerated in America, right? This is a deep racist issue in our country. We have private prisons, right? Black intellectuals will be like, well, our people create our own problems. Now, for me, what that is self-loathing. That's these intellectual blacks looking down on people who are acting wild. Now, for me, I like wild people. I like rowdy people. Why? Because they're acting like how humans used to act thousands of years ago. They're acting with power, right? Okay, this is gonna sound crazy, but let's say you leave whatever, your laptop, your phone. If you leave any of your possessions around, you know, I'm gonna want to take it and run away. That's called power. This is the definition of power, right? If you're in the jungle, and right, or whatever, the mountains, and a tiger kills, like, whatever, an elk, a deer, there's gonna be a pack of wolves. They're gonna run up on the tiger, chase the tiger away, and steal the kill, eat the elk. That's power. So it's not black people creating their own problems. It's a self-loathing. And again, there's good forms of self-loathing, right? You've heard the term self-loathing Jew. I love that. That's how stand-up comedy was creating. People like just Jewish comedians like who's that director Woody Allen, and then Seinfeld. I don't know if he did talked about Jews, but just the self-loathing Jew archetype. That's a positive archetype, a manifestation of that. What I'm trying to get at, instead of coming down on your fellow man. Now, for me, I'm self-loathing against West Indian people because, from one, right? West Indian people love being West Indian, and there's nothing wrong with that. But they only eat their food when they're at home, right? Curry and all that nonsense. And for me, I'm half white, but I'm also just a really picky eater. So that all that sauce, it just perturbs me. So that's one thing. Like, why can't Indian people make their food more palatable for Americans, like how Chinese takeout spots did? And then you could say, well, oh, Indians, they made butter chicken or tikka, whatever. That's not enough. Again, there's a lot of races. We're seeing this now with Muslim people. They're in their new wave, where they don't associate with other people. They stick to their Muslim people. You'll see Muslim spots pop up here in New York, right? Down the block. If you go 8 blocks, it's called City Line. It's the border between Brooklyn and Queens. All Bengalis, right? Those are the poor Muslims. That's the new wave. In the UK, they're taking over Ireland, England, and the white people, they're becoming the minority, and they're very fucking pissed. Again, this is all racism, guys. It's fear of a brown planet. It used to be fear of a black planet, right? Now it's fear of a brown planet. Again, there's nothing wrong with being Muslim, but it's the same problem why people like Kanye are so against Jewish people, because they stick to their own religion. It's a club, right? You can only be Jewish if your mom is Jewish. Shit like that. And you have to convert if you want to marry it with a Jewish, whatever, a woman or blah, blah, blah. It's insular, you know what I'm saying? Not Christianity. And why do you think Christianity, these fucking Abrahamic, whatever, desert, 3 religions? 2 of them are very insular. Christianity spread like wildfire. Took over North America, South America, the UK, even Africa. That's 4 continents. So it goes deep. The racism extends into religion. If you ask AI, what is like whatever the best or the most friendly or whatever religion, you ask a question to AI, they're gonna tell you Christianity is number 1. And that's not because I'm Catholic. I don't practice. My number 1 religions, and they're not even religions, they're spiritualities. I subscribe to Taoism, aka Taoism, whatever. If you have, it's a whatever Chinese pronunciation. Taoism and then Buddhism. I first got into Buddhism because that was more popular back in the day, 15 years ago. But Taoism is where it's at. That's the flow state and trying to understand paradox. It's an extension of Buddhism. And again, those 2, they correct all that Confucianism nonsense that Chinese is entrenched with. That elitism in China, where Chinese act like they're better than you. But I've met so many Chinese people. I worked with Chinese people for 10 years in high school and after at the job. They're great people. The people who are not super elite. They just want, they're beautiful women. But again, that Confucianism, the puritanicalism that's entrenched in the American dream. If you just work hard and do a good, be a good person, everything's gonna work out. Well, look at what the state of the world is. It's completely racist. You have like Indians hating black people. It's like you both have melanin, and they only like the white Indians. Indian people they only make white Indians popular in movies. But with that, I'm out, dude. This fucked up problem. I can't talk about it more.